pulled my usual trick last night of driving to the trailhead in the dark after the day was over. The drive through the valley was absolutely luminous, with scattered rain and snow showers coming down and the last rays of the sun shooting through and painting everything gold. My plan is to drop into this big basin behind me and see what kind of critters might be about. I suspect I'm above the elk. I don't know that for a fact, and it should be decent for spring bear. We'll see. I've already seen a couple of nice fatty grouse this morning, so I think it ought to be a good trip down in here. I'm definitely flirting with the snow line here. I left my snowshoes in the car. I didn't even bring my micro spikes. We'll see if I end up regretting that. This little pond's about beautiful. Well, I made it down to the canyon bottom here. I don't really want to know how many vertical feet that was because I got to climb back out tomorrow regardless. This is one of those really neat areas where you've got what I guess you could call an ecotone inversion. Basically, because it's perpetually cooler and wetter down here in the canyon bottom, you have a plant community that's underneath another plant community that normally would be above. I started out up in the pondos and I descended into firs, which normally would be well above the ponderosas. I even saw a couple of little blue spruce down in here. So it's kind of a neat deal, but now I'm going to climb out the other side up to another bench over here and take a look at things. Quite the view. Somewhere down there is where I dropped into this canyon about this time of year a couple of years ago, because the snow line was a lot lower than it is right now. Over there is my summertime stomping grounds, still under a lot of snow right now. I'm off trail now. A decent sized band of elk came through here in the last day or so. So I'm actually backtracking them. Hopefully I'll run across some water up here and then we'll figure it out from there. Well, no dice right here, but I'm going to just follow this creek bed up closer to snow line up there, and hopefully I'll run into some water as I get closer. There's only about a 20-yard stretch of open water here, but I don't need that much.
Such altering red, the master in his infinite mercy.
It's a pleasure to stay in a ponderosa forest. It's not something I often get a chance to do. Last night the wind came up in the trees and it was just sublime. I was going to loop around this way to drop back down to that bench where I crossed the canyon, but I decided to go back the way I came so I can take a look at those basins again in the morning, see if there's any critters in there. Well, some kind of little muckrat's been through here. Here's my thumb for scale. Real tiny little critter. It's going to cost me about a quart of water to climb 1,000 feet out of the canyon here. Yes, I checked the map. So I'm going to top off a quart of water here. If I misjudged, there is streams and some other water up on that bench up there where I can refill on my way up. This might be the first bear track of spring. If so, it's a yearling, not super large. First 3 digits there, about the width of my finger. Boy, I can't see them, but they can see me and shut up as soon as they saw me. It's frog season. Coyote came up out of here this morning. I heard one yipping and yowling down here at first light, so I expect it was the same one. Headed on about his business now. Well, I just cached the very last of my water, so that was good timing. One of the reasons that I went in here was I was thinking in terms of maybe hunting this fall in here. And I did see plenty of fresh elk sign. There's no doubt there's lots of critters in there. I also saw a reasonable amount of litter, which means hunters are in there as well. But this spring, I was the first person in here since last fall sometime. So it was a nice wild backcountry experience, and I might make a tradition out of it in the future.